Pit crew change for Chase Elliott, AJ Allmendinger addresses his ECR outburst, and which Trackhouse driver is really on the hot seat. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Friday, folks. All-Star Weekend is here. Tonight, Cup Series qualifying plus the Pit Crew Challenge. NASCAR posted their top 10 Pit Crew rankings. A lot of Toyota at the top, some Hendrick guys, 2 RFK teams. That's pretty cool. Trackhouse represented. Also, tonight, there is a Cars Tour late model stock race on FS1 with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick in the broadcast booth. So a full weekend of fantastic short track racing action, plus Indy 500 qualifying. NASCAR Nation keeping a close eye on Kyle Larson. Today, we're catching up on a few stories from this past week, some early silly season discussion, Chevrolet engine drama, but first, Chase Elliott has a new right rear tire changer. If you noticed on that graphic a moment ago, you don't see the number 9 team listed among the 10 best pit crews in the Cup Series. The data I've seen suggests they are a better than average group, but if you watch the race at Kansas, Chase Elliott's chance of winning disappeared when the right rear changer had issues on the final stop. Now, as first reported by Bob Pockris, Calvin Teague, tire changer from Justin Haley's crew, who used to be on Kyle Larson's car, will now move over to Chase Elliott and be part of the number 9 team. Pull up that NASCAR graphic again. You see the 5, the 48, the 24. The number 9 is the only Hendrick team missing from the top 10. Hopefully this change will get them closer to their teammates. So something to watch out for if you're a Chase Elliott fan. New right rear tire changer. Trackhouse is off to a not so great start this season. Now a 3-car team. Their drivers are 11th, 27th, and 35th in points. And recently, both Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez, the team's veterans, have criticized Trackhouse's lack of overall speed. There's been a lot of fan and industry discussion this week about this team's future. Could they switch manufacturers in the next couple of years? Right now, they have 3 veteran race car drivers on their roster, plus one of the most exciting young prospects in recent years, Connor Zilisch, 18 years old, who's about to make his Cup Series oval debut in the Coca-Cola 600. While Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen's contract status is unknown, we do know that Daniel Suarez is set to be a free agent after this season. As a result, many have assumed that Suarez's seat is the hottest, but we don't know if that's actually the case. Look at the first 12 races this year. Shane Van Gisbergen has been by far the worst Trackhouse performer. It has been a struggle thus far for the 36-year-old New Zealand driver, compounded, of course, by Trackhouse's general lack of speed. Shane finished 9th at Bowman Gray, exhibition race to start the season, but since then, his best oval finish is 20th. His average finish on ovals this season is 28.7. And I saw a quote from Shane in V8 Sleuth this week where Shane said, quote, "It's difficult when you only have 15 to 20 minutes of practice, then straight into qualifying. It's hard to get up to speed on these places I haven't been before. It will take time, and I'm not trying to force it or get desperate, just going to keep working and building." Is there a universe where SVG gets dropped after just one Cup Series season? What is Trackhouse going to do next season? I created a flash poll on my YouTube page and asked you guys right now, what do you think Trackhouse's Cup lineup will be next season? And you can see the results. More than half of y'all believe Daniel Suarez will be out and Connor Zilisch will take over that seat full-time next season. Not many of y'all think Zilisch will replace SVG, but a decent of y'all voted for this kind of fun theory where SVG and Connor Zilisch maybe split the number 88 seat next season. I'm going to venture into the comment section for a moment, pull some of them from out of the crowd. As fast as Zilisch is picking stuff up, he needs to stay in Xfinity next year. There's nothing wrong with an extra year to tighten your racecraft. I generally agree. While the Xfinity Series car and the Cup Series Next Gen don't share many similarities, there is something to be said for getting oval experience and learning general stock car racing racecraft. There's no way SVG won't come back next year. They've put too much into his career to just one and done him like that. See, I also agree with that take. Yes, Trackhouse was willing to fire Zane Smith 6 months into his Trackhouse tenure, but Zane had never won a race for Trackhouse like Shane Van Gisbergen has. Shane Van Gisbergen is a Cup Series winner. They also committed to a full Xfinity season last year through a partnership with Colleague Racing. So they have put more into SVG than they ever did into Zane Smith. So I agree, it would be a tough look to one and done Shane Van Gisbergen just like that. But that being said, this is the NASCAR Cup Series. It is the top level of motorsports in the United States. And let's be honest, if Shane Van Gisbergen can't win a road course race this season, he's not a Cup Series driver. He is a great race car driver, don't get me wrong, but oval racing is an entirely new beast, something that SVG hadn't even tried to tame until last year. You're asking a road course driver to learn oval racing overnight in his mid-30s with limited practice. That is an extremely tall task. The reason Shane Van Gisbergen is in Cup this season is because he's so damn good at road courses, and there are 5 road course races before the playoffs. 5 chances to win your way into the postseason. That comes with huge bonus money at the end of the year. That's why Shane Van Gisbergen is in Cup. But if we go to Mexico City in a few weeks, if we go to Sonoma, Chicago, Watkins Glen, and SVG is just good, like running 7th, then he's not a Cup Series driver because he's never going to get good enough at the ovals to make a difference there. If he can't dominate road courses, there's not a place for him in the NASCAR Cup Series. So I agree with this comment right now, but ask me again in 2 or 3 months once we've seen a couple more road course races. Hopefully Shane Van Gisbergen shows he is still the guy to beat. Chastain is the team leader. Zilich is the future. Yeah, I would agree. Personally, Suarez offers more than SVG, but I see SVG and Connor splitting a ride being more likely. So they kind of like my fourth option, my random theory there. Daniel Suarez is a better oval racer than Shane Van Gisbergen. He has good relationships with sponsors like Freeway Insurance and Kubota and Jockey, part of the Coca-Cola racing family, all that good stuff. So Daniel Suarez does bring a lot of value. But again, if Shane Van Gisbergen is still the guy to beat at the road courses, then I think he's earned a spot in the NASCAR Cup Series. Although, and I'll throw this variable out there, what if NASCAR completely overhauls the playoff format for 2026? What if winning you're in gets nixed? Shoot, if that happens, Shane Van Gisbergen's value goes down, frankly. Honestly, you could argue Daniel Suarez's goes down as well. Suarez does not make the playoffs last year without that win at Atlanta early in the year. So yeah, there's a lot of variables here. I guess what I want to see the next couple months, I want to see SVG dominate a road course race. Show us that he is still the guy to beat. If he does that, then I see no reason why Trackhouse wouldn't bring him back for another season, assuming he is up for it. Going back to this poll, right now, I think Trackhouse will run it back next year. I think Ross Chastain will stay. I think Shane Van Gisbergen will get another year, second, third trip to some of these tracks, chance to really feel it out. And I think Daniel Suarez is good enough, has good sponsor support that it makes sense to give him another 1-year deal if he's willing. And Connor Zilich is only 18 years old. He'll be 19 next season. No reason to rush him into the NASCAR Cup Series at this stage unless he is truly the best option. Continue to get him some part-time Cup starts, all that good stuff. I think Trackhouse right now should plan to run it back in 2026, but we'll know more over the next couple of months. Then we will truly know how valuable SVG still is to a NASCAR Cup Series team. Interesting conversation though. Just some chatter this week around Trackhouse, their future. Figured I'd put out a flash poll and see what y'all think. Let's talk about AJ Allmendinger. AJ Allmendinger at Kansas blew a motor 6 laps in and then ripped ECR engines over the radio.
Hey, ECR, you guys suck. I mean, what? You guys.
Ooh, it was the second blown motor for AJ Allmendinger, who we've talked about a few weeks ago, was in a playoff spot, but now finds himself 25th in points. His frustration Sunday afternoon, entirely justified in my opinion, even if he didn't express himself in the most professional manner. But fortunately for AJ, it doesn't sound like ECR is going to force him into a Kyle Busch-esque apology. Instead, AJ appeared on SiriusXM NASCAR radio this week and explained his frustration with ECR. He even referenced the fact that the number 16 Xfinity Series car driven by Christian Eckes has experienced multiple engine failures this season. AJ Allmendinger said this week, quote, "I've worked with ECR for over 10 years, and it's rare that we've had a couple of engine issues on the Cup side. And then with the 16 group on the Xfinity side, I think that's where all the frustration boiled over. I have a deep passion for this organization." That he does. AJ Allmendinger has been the ultimate Kaulig Racing team player the past few years. Chris Rice, Matt Kaulig, whatever they've needed Allmendinger to do, he has done it and has for the most part done it very well. From Xfinity to Cup to part-time Cup to back to Xfinity, back to Cup, he's game. Now, AJ Allmendinger went on to say that he's had great conversations with ECR this week and has full confidence that these issues will be fixed, so worth noting, but something to watch for sure over the coming weeks. If the ECR engines aren't going to be the fastest of the bunch, they at least have to be reliable, and I imagine that's part of where AJ's frustrations come from. We'll wrap up with this. This was NFL schedule release week. So naturally, NASCAR fans are talking about the 2026 NASCAR schedule as well. A few days ago, I noticed this post on the NASCAR subreddit. Apparently, on one of the latest fan council surveys NASCAR sent out, they asked fans to select which tracks they would like to see host the championship date one day. And apparently, Chicagoland Speedway was one of the tracks listed. Now, based on this screenshot, you also see the Chicago Street Course listed, which is unrealistic. The Chicago Street Course will never host the NASCAR Championship, so maybe they just put every NASCAR-owned facility on the list, but still, noteworthy that Chicagoland Speedway was mentioned, considering NASCAR hasn't raced at Chicagoland since 2019, pre-pandemic. It's been over 6 years. Fans this week also noticed that Chicagoland Speedway's website hints at new events. My good friend and Illinois native Jarrett Lundberg noted that there's an updated facility map. With this being the final year of the current Chicago Street Course agreement, I think that's fueled speculation that NASCAR could return to Joliet in the coming years. Now, for the record, I don't think that the website or that fan survey is proof that NASCAR is returning to Chicagoland Speedway next year, but they could. It's a great 1.5-mile racetrack. That old worn-out surface, I think, would put on a great show with the current next-gen car. And based on what I've heard, the track is still in good shape and within a few months could be ready to host a Cup Series weekend. So it is realistic that NASCAR could add Chicagoland back to the schedule next season, but I don't think the evidence seen this week is proof. The future of the Chicago street race is uncertain, to say the least. If NASCAR and the city are unable to renew their agreement or reach a new deal, I would welcome a return to Chicagoland Speedway again because I believe the next-gen car would put on a hell of a show. But if NASCAR returns to Joliet, returns to the 1.5-mile intermediate oval on the outskirts of Chicago, I hope that doesn't mean the end of the street course experiment. For years, I watched the NASCAR brand grow stale. Same tracks, same markets, similar schedule every single year. All the recognizable names started to retire. Talladega Nights became more recognizable, more mainstream than NASCAR itself. But the street race has been a breath of fresh air. It has reinvigorated the brand, shown the world that NASCAR can and will evolve. And the racing has been shockingly compelling. I mean, the first year, watching SVG go from 20th to 1st in the final laps up against darkness, that was thrilling. Last season, the Xfinity race between SVG and Larson was phenomenal. Now imagine if the street race hadn't been drowned by literally the storm of the century. Imagine if NASCAR didn't have literally the worst possible luck with the weather, how much bigger even these events would have been. So that's why, while I would welcome a return to Chicagoland Speedway, there are so many great race fans in the Midwest. Iowa was a success last year when Road America was on the Cup schedule. 100,000 fans flocked to the facility. I would love to see Chicagoland Speedway back, but I hope that doesn't mean the street race era would come to an end. And I don't think it would. We've heard rumors of San Diego could be added. I would love to see that. Weren't there some rumors last year about Pittsburgh, or did I make that up? IndyCar just added a race down the street from me in Arlington, Texas. Maybe NASCAR could learn a thing or two. No matter what happens in Chicago, I hope NASCAR will continue to bring their street racing product to another untapped market somewhere in the country, or maybe even the world. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you attended the Chicago street race either of the last 2 years or are planning to attend this season, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Covered a lot of ground in this one. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more NASCAR news, content, race reactions, and so much more every single day. And a big thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters. Hope you all enjoy All-Star Weekend. We'll be back here Sunday night to react to everything. Have a great rest of your day, folks. Talk to you again soon.